Okay, here's everything that you as a consumer need to know about the NAR lawsuit and the changes to the real estate world that could affect you if you're buying or selling a home. Number one, it's a change in the dynamic on how representation occurs when it comes to buying a home. Historically, when a buyer goes out, they call their agent, they find somebody to go out and look at the properties, they write the offer, and they may or may not have an agreement with that buyer's agent, but they go out and look at the properties, and it's kind of an implied agreement, and there's a publicly advertised commission that buyer's agent would make if they sell the property. Well, that's gone away completely. Now we're in a representation environment, meaning when you want to go look at a home, you have to have a written agreement with a buyer's agent that shows you how much their fee is, what services they're going to be provided, and what the process of buying a home looks like. So instead of just going out and willy-nilly looking at houses, it's actually better for the buyer because you will have really clear representation written out from the start. Number two, we have a decoupling of commissions. Historically, what most sellers have done is they sign an agreement with their listing agent who's listing the property to pay a certain amount of commissions. That could be 6%. Of that commissions, they've given the listing agent the authorization to take part of that and pay the buyer's agent's broker. So the commissions were coupled together. Well, that has been pulled apart to provide more transparency and actually more flexibility for buyers and sellers to negotiate the fees. And what that means is if you're going to sell your home, you no longer have to agree or really will be forced to agree to paying just a flat 5 or 6% commission. You will be shown exactly what your listing agent's fee is, and then you will be given the opportunity, if you would like, to pay a commission to the buyer's agent, or you will probably sit down and come up with a strategy that makes sense with your agent on how to entice buyers without overpaying commissions and things like that with fees. And then the third part of that is practices and processes have changed dramatically on the real estate agent. So the way that we operate as realtors for you, the consumers, it has changed. Meaning when we look at properties that are advertised for sale, we now need to do our due diligence and find out, is the seller offering any commission? What kind of systems and structure do they have in place to provide any sort of fees? Because if you hire us as your buyer's agent, we need to have that information ready so we can help negotiate on your behalf and make sure you don't pay out of pocket. The other system that we're having a lot of fun with is with our sellers. I'm really loving this. So instead of just sitting down with a listing agent saying, okay, my fee is 3%, and yeah, well, you probably should offer a buyer's agent commission, or you should do something to entice the buyers, we come up with a strategy. And here's where it's a lot of fun, and here's what's really working is we find out exactly how to entice buyer's agents to show the home and buyers to come look at it. And then we have set up a negotiation system where instead of just publicly saying our seller will automatically pay 3%, we wait for the offers to come in. And then us as professional negotiators, we make the buyer and the buyer's agent negotiate their fee. And what that results in is a higher net proceeds for our seller. So the takeaway and the summary of all of this is now we are in an environment of representation. So that means you as the seller and you as the buyer, you should have a really clear explanation of what you're paying, what services you're getting, and who's representing you. There should be no confusion there. Number two, there's a decoupling of commissions. So if you're a buyer, you need to have a clear understanding. Are you going to be paying your buyer's agent out of pocket, or are they negotiate the fee for you, or maybe somewhere in the middle? And number three, there are new practices and procedures in place. And at the end of the day, as a consumer, really what this should do is give you more transparency and overall a better, closer, tighter knit experience with your buyer's agent or your listing agent, because they're going to have to show you exactly what they're doing to help you, what they get paid for. Otherwise, you probably aren't going to pay them if you don't have clear understanding. So that's the breakdown. Those are changes. If you want to know how we are using this change to help our buyers and sellers win, let me know. I'll show you exactly what our playbook is that we spent 6 months developing, and you can take our playbook and use it when you're out there in the real estate market to win.